And one. All right, good afternoon, class. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, Mr. G.
Thank you. All right, so class has begun, so everyone make sure that you guys have your laptops out, phones put away, headphones out of your ears. Make sure you have something to write with. We're going to be doing an in-class activity. We'll also have a bunch of colored markers up front for later on, but make sure you take the next 30 seconds to get your materials out. Alright, so you can go over here. Alright.
Yeah, you can get that extension cord right there, Mr. L.
Alright guys, 10 more seconds. Make sure you start wrapping that up. Alright, and 3, 2, and 1. Alrighty, so while you guys are taking that part out, I notice you guys are kind of like plugging your guys' stuff in. Up in the front, you guys may have noticed we have a little bit of a bell work question that we have for you guys. And this is more of, before we jump in, kind of talks a little bit about what we're going to be going over. So up here we have a question going on, what is yellow journalism? So this is something that we've talked about a little bit beforehand. And so, yes.
It's like fake or biased stories that newspapers put out for other people to believe.
Alright, very good. Like fake and biased stories. So much like on how you just mentioned, yellow journalism is not that they're false stories, they are just the truth without context. They are the truth that focus on a very specific point to drive a specific narrative. Much like on how, I'm pretty sure we discussed last time, it's like clickbait and it's like a fishing story. Each time when you go fishing, the fish happens to get bigger and bigger. Alright, very good. So, yes?
Is it like heavily biased propaganda?
It's very heavily biased propaganda, exactly. That's a very good definition you gave it. Thank you. Alright, so today we're going to be doing our yellow journalism activity. So we're finally doing that. I do apologize, we were trying to push for it on Wednesday. But now that we're able to get back up on pace with everything, we are going to be doing that today. So if you guys open your guys' Google Classroom, it's going to be under Unit 9, and it will be labeled as Yellow Journalism Activity. Let me actually first pull it up for you guys, so that way you guys can see what I'm looking at.
I have it up.
Oh, you have it up? Oh, okay, I was going to show them how they,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, in case they were missing on what. Alright, so it would be under classwork. Yellow journalism activity. So you go through here, and here are going to be the outline of what we'll be going over. So, alright, so you know me and how I love to do, whenever we do activities, I really like to, oh hey guys, let's cut the side conversation real quick. Thank you. Alright, so whenever we do activities, you know how I really like to do these sort of like role play activities where you put yourself in the shoes of like certain individuals to get you really thinking like the people that we discuss at that time. So today is going to be no different. So yellow journalism, it was one of the motivating factors that launched us into the Spanish-American War. The Spanish-American War is considered to be America's first media war. So media war means that the war was heavily motivated by the public perception of the information that they are getting from the news and other sources of journalism. So whatever was being posted out during the time was how the public felt about staying in a conflict with another nation. So as mentioned from our examples earlier, the over-sensationalization and even manufactured events were a powerful force to convince the public. So when more stories were being pushed out by yellow journalists, the more the public was aware of the events that were going on in Cuba, and with more awareness brought more public support for intervention and action. All right, so for today, you are no longer in 2023. We are now being moved back in time. We are putting on our time travel helmets, people. We're going.
Oh my God.
We are now in 1890, and we are in a hustling, bustling city. We are now yellow journalists, and as a yellow journalist, we are trying to sell as many newspapers about current events that are going on. You time traveled back in time with your trusty laptops, and in your laptops you have three events that are current during that time. You're going to be choosing one of those topics to be writing your news article on. Those will be in the bottom of the activity guidelines. But while you're writing, your #1 objective is to convince your reader that America should get involved. So when you're writing about your topic, you're going to be trying to drive home to the audience, which is going to be the American public, on like this subject that I'm talking about is so horrendous, or whatever Spain did caused such an uproar that we need to, as Americans, get involved militarily speaking. All right. So when you're writing about your news article, it's very key that you remember this, and this was brought up in a few hours before, and I like to stick with this rule. Yellow journalism isn't a lie, it is the truth without context. So when you're researching, you'll see that there's going to be a lot of articles talking about certain topics, and in those certain topics they will tell you a little bit of what caused the drama between the United States and Spain, and then talks about what actually did happen. As yellow journalists, are we concerned about getting a truthful resolution between the Spanish government and us, or are we more concerned about trying to sell more newspapers and competing against other news tabloids? Can you say that again?
Selling more newspapers.
Selling more newspapers, yes. We're trying to sensationalize our topics. So you're going to be driving home on one factor that drove us to war with Spain, and you're going to really focus in on that part, trying to rile up the public in support for this war, trying to play off of some of the key things that we talked about that are really important. What's one of the big things that's really important in the late 19th and early 20th century? What is one of the biggest things that countries have that drives for war? Yes?
Is it
Nationalism. Thank you. Play on that nationalistic pride. So those that may be talking about the USS Maine, really drive home on those nationalistic tendencies that were going on during that part of history. So that means really drive on the fact though that a foreign power did such a horrible action to us. And so that's going to be what you guys should be focusing on today. Your objective when you're writing it, make it as flashy and bold as possible to gain public eye. So you're going to be competing against each other. You are all your own separate news articles, your own news paper stands. And with each stand, you're competing against others for more views. So make sure that yours tries to stand out against the rest. All right, I'm going to scroll down real quick to show you the 3 topics that you can choose from. So we have the USS Maine sinking. We have conditions at the camps that Spain was forcing Cuban citizens to live in, and then we have the Spanish diplomatic hostilities between us and the Spanish government. So we have letters that were brought back and forth between us and their ambassadors. So those are 3 topics that you can choose from. Now those are just guiding sources. You can look through these and find other sources to write on. Now moving back into the classroom. Now there are going to be, there we go. All right. So when you're creating your news article, you can either do this online, and there's a little template that I created that kind of shows you how you want to layer it out in case you don't know how you want to have it structured. So you can use this to kind of act as like a guide. You can also use a blank Google Doc to fill it out if you already know how you want it to be structured out. Like let's say you want your heading to be over on this side, and then you want information over here, pictures over there. That's perfectly fine. Be as creative as you want on this. What we're looking for is your writing ability, your content knowledge, and also of how you're able to kind of, and how your understanding of yellow journalism is. So those are things I'll be looking forward to. When it comes towards you guys actually creating it, I'm really excited to see your more artistic side come out. For those that don't want to do this on computer, that's perfectly fine. Me and Mr. L, we printed off these earlier today. So this is the same thing, but in a paper format. So if you want to actually draw, if you actually want to like draw them and want to write these out by hand, you can. We even have coloring pencils and pens up front. So if you do want to pick one of these and you're like, hey, I want to write and draw, just raise your hand. I'll be over and I'll hand you one of these. Or if you want to have a different layout, like how we mentioned before here, like how you're like, I want to actually do my title over here, pictures over there, information down here, that's perfectly fine. I can come around and give you a blank sheet of paper, so that way you can do it on the style that you would like. All right. With that being said, is there any questions that we have for the group before we? Yes.
Is this due by the end of class?
Very good question. So this is going to be. We're going to check in halfway through the class with you guys to see what your guys' progress is. If you guys are on fire with this and you guys are doing really good with your pacing, then it will be. But if you guys are kind of struggling in some areas and you feel like you need more time, it's going to be due on Sunday at midnight. Our goal is to print them off and have them as like replacing the native tribe posters that we created. All right, any other questions before we pass these out? All right, one more expectation to push out real quick is that by the end of class or by the near halfway point, we want to see you select a topic, begin your research on that area, and begin writing on your newspaper about said subject. All right, so those three things are going to be the bare minimum of what I'm looking for before we hit the end of class. All right, so that being said, you have the rest of class to work on this. I'll be walking around helping you guys. I'll be walking around also passing these out. During this time, you could listen to music. Make sure you have your headphones in. But the only time that you're allowed to have your phone out is to like switch songs. But besides that, make sure you're staying focused on your work, okay? All right. Begin. All right. Anyone need a paper? Yes. There you go.
I wish he had long guns in his
Yes. Oh, sure thing. Yeah, just take your hat.
Literally.
Can you put this in over?
Yeah. You're trying to sell as much.
It might be easier.
Up to 3. Yeah. Thank you. There you go. All right, guys. Hey, guys, make sure that we're being respectful of each other's stuff. Yeah. Yeah. There you go.
Hear what you do.
Oh, you need another one? Yeah.
Oh, can I do?
Oh yeah, sure thing. I'll take it.
Such a great guy.
I'll get you one of these.
Sure, yeah, I'll do it. Danke.
I think you tried to get in trouble.
Stop.
You guys are pretty good. You guys are
Call with that one.
We print it off enough where everyone can have it.
Oh, you want to? Yeah, you want
So what was the topic?
So on it we have one
Oh, you're doing that too?
Alright class, I'll also be walking around and kind of giving a, showing an example from second hour. One of the students did a really good job on theirs, and so I'll be kind of walking around showing that to you guys to give you some inspiration on how to model it, or to give you some artistic ideas of what you want to draw. So I'll be going around and doing that. So continue working on. I'll be popping around you guys' table real soon.
So, Mr. These are 3 topics then, just right here, the USS topics?
Yeah, so
Okay.
USS main sinking, conditions at the camps, or the diplomat.
Okay, just pick one.
Yeah, just pick one.
Alright, does it show up like, does it, okay, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I made sure I get something.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, this is kind of like how, yeah, just a really good job on this. Oh, we did have like this, like, old title.
Do we just pick one of those?
Yeah. I think I'm gonna do the USS main sinking. I think I'm gonna do the same. A big Navy.
Planes at national supply,
Same.
how, you know, why are we allowing the Spanish government to do this and go? And you think it needs to really
What do we do?
you guys, the topic? Oh, yeah, sure thing.
What's that section?
USS main sinking.
Oh, yeah, the, is
Is that where I kind of put the topic, just up there?
Yeah, if you want to make your header like
Yeah, okay, yeah. As long as it's,
that space right here.
as long as you kind of follow it like.
You can do something, you can do that too. You can use this space as your header and this space as your title of your newspaper. You got some flexibility.
Okay.
Are we writing information about it on here too, or just pictures?
Both. I would recommend doing both. Good propaganda and good yellow journalism uses a combination of different methods. Because it's all propaganda, just like you guys are
So like I can just do pictures and caption them a little bit and say like,
So you
do want to have so you do want to include some of the facts. You do want to include, where it happens, when it happens, who it happened to. But that's not
You're going to be trying
just
to
to throw some stuff in there.
It's all about the views, it's all about people getting clicks, it's all about people finding it.
Okay.
Yep, the right thing.
Add your
Oh, yeah, no problem.
I like that. I like that indeed.
Do you have an extra template?
We're one team right here. Let me just get that.
Oh, yeah. Let me grab that. I put them right here. I was like, oh, that seems odd.
I heard that.
There you go.
Thank you.
Sussy.
Yes.
You're sussy, dude. What did you hear?
Yeah, I don't even know what I did.
Exactly sussy.
I'm sorry.
Oh, so you guys are both doing it.
Yeah, we're just gonna kind of work together because Microbooks showed me.
Oh,
that's all right.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay. Yeah, try to make it your
Yeah,
own,
we'll
your
try
own
and-
unique
yeah.
stuff. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Oh. Oh, hey class. I got one more.
I'm gonna write my information on this long one, and then draw pictures in the middle.
All right. Hey class. I got a quick announcement to make. Something I completely forgot, but glad that one of the students brought it to my attention. So, if you guys are trying to open up the documents, the template online, do not open it on Google Docs because it will result in a blank page. Open it on Doc Hub. That way you can edit it and you can also put in pictures. So that is if you're doing it online, you're utilizing that, Doc Hub, not Google Docs. Alright, that is all. Continue working.
Thank you.
Yep. But the that's where it's black documentation. Yeah.
Just get them.
Chances are they also weren't expecting to be that bad as well. Like they weren't, like they were probably not planning for you guys to go that. Like that was almost like at the level of concern. Like,
Now it's easy.
so they did.
Oh, don't worry, I got a few hours to still make up an excuse.
Tell them to pull up.
Yeah.
Basketball.
Yeah.
Dude, what are you doing? Stop.
Drive. Yeah, definitely. When you're riding, drive home with the fact that like,
Studies rainbow.
they claim that they're trying to protect them against really like against fires, but the last person is like come from a quote unquote terrorist or come from different things. No, you don't just cite your website. It's just like if you're using a quote this one, you just quote that individual. You don't quote the website because we're in 1898 because you're not quoting your website. Probably 1898. No.
Because I feel like the
Yeah.
journalists would.
Yo, that's cool, because then you can find, you can backtrack them. You don't leave them like candidates. Yes. So you just, Knox. Don't you go, let me see how you're doing this. Oh yeah, that's right. It's just
Bored, man.
Yeah, I got my